How important is it to learn the lost tools of writing in high school, Camille?
I need to think of a good analogy for this, but the answer would be that, or is the answer is that it's more important to have lost tools in high school than anything else besides
Okay.
arithmetic. If it would be better to take lost tools and arithmetic and nothing else than to have every subject imaginable that you can find in high schools today and no lost tools. Because lost tools gives you the skill to deal with everything else. And if you can't do that, you can't deal with anything else. It's like trying to compete in volleyball or tennis or skiing or anything else without walking.
You have a metaphor for that, April, besides walking?
Um, I don't, but I can share a couple of a recent experience I had, and I've told this to Camille, because it's not something I often hear. Sometimes when students and families are beginning lost tools, they see the form that we're practicing, and we practice it over and over. So sometimes it feels restrictive, and I have those conversations most often if a parent comes to me, and so I explained the reasoning behind it. But I had a student recently. He's a young one, 12 or 13, and he said he was really enjoying lost tools. And so I asked him, what is it that you love so much? And he said, the freedom.
Hmm.
Right. I was like, okay. So, and I thought about that. I was thrilled to hear it, but I think what he was experiencing, was really, he was experiencing that love and that joy that comes with just contemplating something, just thinking about something, just
Wow.
lying in the grass, head in the clouds, thinking about something.
Are you talking about my son?
He just likes to think. He's a great thinker. I love thinking with him. We've had a good time. But that was something that I don't often hear, and students may be experiencing, but he said it. He said it to me, and I really appreciated that. So I don't know of any other writing program that asks students to practice contemplating. We have to nurture that, and this program does that. Go ahead, Camille. I see.
No, I'm glad you said that, because this program gives them the skills to do it. And we all as humans want to do that. And if we don't have the skills for it, we can't do it. And
Or we'll try, right? Like there's things I want to be able to do and I'm not really good at it, and I try and I don't do really well. And it's apparent.
Right. And I'll quote Eric Little again. God made us, he designed us to understand. He designed us to know and to have wisdom and to learn. And when we understand, or we contemplate something, we understand, we feel his pleasure. There is a joy that comes from seeing truth. And I just sent a grade report to one of my students last week, and her mom wrote back and said, Wednesday is her favorite day of the week because of your class. And it's because of these tools that she's understanding things that she's never seen before. The world is opening up to her.
And then it just becomes part of them. Both of my oldest and my third child have been through lost tools, so the conversations in our family are very lively.
Yes.
That's to be celebrated, but they get very, very lively sometimes. But my third child in particular, because she started when I started the apprenticeship around when she was in 6th grade, and now she's graduating, and she's been through all the levels. Her thinking, I don't even think it's just become part of every day. I'm probably not explaining it well, but the practice that she did in lost tools just habituated her mind to automatically ask questions, to automatically wonder. She says, I just like to think. And I think, thank you, lost tools. But for her, it's just so very, very natural. It's just something that she automatically does, but that's because we've spent these years practicing it.
I say, yeah, she was nurtured in an environment, right, that cultivated those skills in her. Yeah.
Yeah. And
And so you had tools to help you do that.
yeah. And honestly, as a parent, it's such a relief because I know she's going out into the world and she's spent all these years practicing and she does think well. So I have more confidence in her than in when I was her age than I was not equipped. I think that's another good word. It equips students for the future to think well. And that's extremely important. I value that. And that's why right now I have a son. He's going to be in 8th grade next year. He's taking the pre-course with me right now. Some of the lost tools have just kind of bled over into his thinking, just being in this family. Because I wouldn't say like writing is comes intuitively to him, but he's thinking really well. So I'm trying to figure out our high school plan because it's just like Camille said, if he was going to have one thing, this is what I would want it to be. So I've got to make that happen for him in high school, whatever my plans are going to be.
Thank you both.
And
Oh, yes.
and well, our children have to make decisions about the world that we don't even know what the questions are yet.
Mm-hmm.
And so they have to be able to make wise decisions without our telling them what to do. And if they're going to be equipped to live in the world, then they have to make judgment calls. And that's not something that we can't give them any answers. We have to give them the tools to make good decisions. And I have a daughter like that too, the one I talk about that had level 1 for 4 years. She's often the one I go to if I have to think through something, because she says, well, what are the circumstances? Well, what caused it? What might be the effects? What do you mean by this? And how does it compare to the other? And it's just part of her.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what our children need to be equipped with.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks.